Nobody's here, but I'm gonna have a nigga come in here.
Okay, I do have one person that you want.
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
Okay. I need you to go through this deck and have a nigga be your demoer. Right? So you may not take a long time, but it's recording, right?
Yeah, it's recorded.
Yeah, we're gonna use this for signage. So you're going to have her come in here, and you don't have to spend a long time. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of go through your slide, and now just realize you're recording this for
the thing.
Yeah. Go ahead and have her come in here. 15 minutes.
I don't know if you stress about stuff. Yeah, but that's it. You know, I have one. Yeah, I have one. But again, it's not like you. Alright, got it. I know he kind of look upset, like kind of. I know, it's all great. Right. Alrighty. Hello, my name is Ryan Clark. I am a fitness specialist, or senior fitness specialist here at EPS Fitness Studio, and this is one of our lunch and learns. So outside, we do have a lot of amenities such as certain snacks, and it ties in with our lunch and learn. Our lunch and learn is the power of plyometrics. The big thing about plyometrics for me is something to add on to your workout, something fun, exciting, just not things like machine work, or just something to add on. Typically, just add on. Plyometrics is something that can be advanced level, and it's also there are beginner level things with plyometrics. So, starting with our objectives. Also, I did place a link in the chat of the PowerPoint. So if you want to follow along with the PowerPoint, just because if you can't see it from the video, there is a link down there, so you can go ahead and paste that to your browser, and it should give you a link to that PDF for the PowerPoint. So these are our objectives. Of course, learning the benefits of plyometric exercises for the body, properly perform plyometric exercises correctly and effectively, and correctly using fitness equipment to perform plyometric exercises at the beginner and intermediate levels. So as you can see, there's a couple things here: step, couple balls, hurdle, and of course the plyo box. That's one of the big things with plyometric is having that plyo box there. But there's so many things that you can use in terms of plyometric. So it's just a couple little few things that I've gathered from the gym to at least kind of explain and demonstrate a couple of the plyometrics and stuff. So moving on to our warm up. So I just want you to first, if you're sitting down, I want us to first kind of go through like a nice little warm up, trying to get your body moving. So the first thing we're going to do is do a little bit of just sitting and stand. I just want you to naturally just sit, stand, sit and stand. I want you to get about 10 of those. Just sit and stand. Now, if you have trouble with a couple of knee issues and stuff like that, you have like a couple things to hang going. If you are sitting down like a chair or anything, just grab the handles, push yourself up. But I just want you to stay up tall and sit up now. So once you get 10, relax a little bit. I want you to remain standing. Now, if you have, just a little tired, maybe you've already worked out earlier, or maybe you're just tired from the workout yesterday, or even you're just tired in general. So there's two ways we're going to do this. If you want to stand up, get a little bit of warming up, I just want you to do a nice little high knee. You don't got to be super high, just nice little high knee. You don't got to move your arms, just a little high knee. Now, if you're sitting down still, usually I can say the legs are still a little bit down and stuff like that. I want you to just march like here. And there's a reason, and I will explain like once we're done with our warm up and everything. I'll explain why we're doing this. It's a reason. Everything's for a reason. So once you get I say about 16, 8 per leg, then not hopefully you woke up a little bit because I know it's still 11:46, 11:40ish. So this help you warm up a little bit. So the reason why we've done that, because life is full of dynamic movements. Plyometric art is dynamic movements. Whether you're standing up some stairs, going up some stairs, that's a dynamic movement. You just did a plyometric exercise. Getting up out your seat in your chair, that's a dynamic exercise. So you just did a plyometric. Even from the smallest thing, just reaching up, or even like jumping up to grab something from a stool or something like that. You just did a dynamic movement. So you just did a plyometric. So there's plyometric movements in everything you're doing, whether it's just the simplest task of even like picking up stuff. Just life is about dynamic movements, and that's what the big thing about plyometric is that it's a lot of dynamic movements involved in it. So plyometrics, the definition of it is a form of exercise that involves rapid and repeated stretching and contracting of the muscles designed to increase strength. So when we mean by plyometrics, so they're quick, they're fast, they're things that are going to get you tired. That's what plyometric exercises for. They really help with, the small things that instead of strengthen your muscles through those dynamic and rapid movements. Whereas normal strength exercises, you're doing one plane of motion, you're not as rapid. You can make those rapid, but most of the time those are not plyometric movements. Plyometric movements are more likely, more full body, getting your body more involved, more engaged. So the benefits of plyometrics: burn more calories because you're moving more in your through plyometric movements. You start to burn more calories. It starts to become more like, that's why those HIIT style classes, a lot of plyometrics are in HIIT style classes, boot camp styles. Those are meant to get you to burn more calories because they're high intensity exercises. Even if there's a beginner level exercise, which we will go over, a couple beginner plyometric exercises, there are beginner ones that still will get your heart rate up depending on your level of fitness and everything. So everybody will burn more calories with plyometrics. Strengthen joints. Because it's a rapid movement, and a lot of things is like rapid, going from a movement or you're stepping up, it's, it helps those joints. You have ankle joints. Say if I was to do a step up, you're working your ankle joints. You're working those knee joints as well. Boom. So even if you can raise this higher, now you're engaging more of your knee joints, ankle joints. Same thing if we're doing a push-up. Push-up is a plyometric exercise, and you don't even know it. Because if you're knocking them out rapidly, you're working those shoulder joints, you're working those elbow joints, wrist joints, everything from there. So those help strengthen those joints as well. Increase strength and power. So strength and power sometimes goes hand in hand, but there's a key difference between strength and power. Strength is more so how strong you are, how much you really can lift, or how much efficiently you can lift something. Whereas power is how quickly and how fast you can use that strength. So strength is like a part of power. So say if I was to throw this ball, strengthening is if I had like a 20-pound ball, being able to just push, press. But say if I wanted to slam it, power, how much force and how much explosion I can put into that ball. And that's the reason why power and strength are a little bit different. So lastly is increase in overall cardio. One thing is cardio is good for a heart cardiovascular exercising. The heart is a muscle, and people don't realize that. The heart is a muscle, and you have to train your heart, and that's through cardio exercises. So plyometrics is a good way to even add cardio-based workouts without having to go for long runs, without having to do miles. It's fast, intense, so you're getting your cardio in through those plyometrics if you're adding that to strength. So most of my training, I do like to do a strength exercise, and I like to superset it with a plyometric exercise. Depending on that client, it can be intense, it can be super intense, just depending on the availability of their joints, how the client is receptible to those plyometric exercises. So that's kind of how I like to take my training there for All right, now there is a risk to plyometrics. The big thing is risk of injury is the only main risk of plyometrics. Because it's very intense, very impactful on the joints, there is a risk of injury. I'm not gonna sit there and lie like it's not a risk, but the thing is, if you approach the plyometric the right way, not thinking you're big headed, oh, I can do that with ease, or I can go up here, you got a box and you can't jump on it, boom. So a lot of people know they can't jump on that, but still continue to do it. There's a high risk, high reward when doing plyometrics, but it's always taking a gradual. Everything has a progression. Everything has a regression. So regression is always something smaller. So say you got the box up here. Now we have this little step. And someone who lacks the strength to jump up here, start with a little basic plyometric here. That's not bad. You can jump here, make it quicker. Boom. Make it quicker. That's a regression. Now, if you want that progression, you start feeling good. All right, now you can get into that box. Once you're a lot stronger. But once you get a lot stronger, now you can move to those higher plyometrics, those big things. So it's also about taking your time and knowing your level of fitness, knowing your level of strength and everything like that. How plyos can go wrong. So I can't play this video, but of course, as you can see, the lady missteps on the plyo box. And that's because, maybe she thought she could do it. And there's nothing wrong that you think you can do it. It's always, but you have to know where you're at in your training or where you're at with things like that. So the big thing is making sure that you know where you're at. So the first thing is not knowing the difference of power versus force. So power versus force. Force can be a little tricky when it comes to power. Like I said with strength, it sounds the same, it's similar structures, but force is you might put too much force, you might put too much energy to something where you just need to take your time and really worry about the power. Power is fast movements, but it's fast movements, nice and controlled. Force is just forceful. It can be out of control. That's where you start to get the injuries. When you start to do plyometrics forcefully and not taking your time and really finding that calm and control when you're doing the plyometrics. Number two, jumping is not the only plyometric. You don't have to jump to do plyometrics. There's skips, there's marches. Like if I can explain it really well using a skip class for high knees. So the regression of first level of the plyometric when it comes to like high knees and stuff like that, it's just marching. This is a plyometric. Boom. The quicker you can do it, the better. Boom. Marching. Now, take another step level, you do an A skip. So now you're skipping with it. Boom. Boom. Skipping. Now from there, you're going to high knees, which is a plyometric. And then you could even take it further to that jumping, but it doesn't have to be a jump. Plyometrics is not about jumping. There's arm plyometrics where you're not jumping. You're doing forceful things or powerful movements, but it doesn't have to be technically a jump. Number three, not properly warming up. You have to warm up when doing plyometrics. It's not a thing where you can just go into it feeling good, hey, I feel good, and I can just go to it. That's how you get hurt. Even if it's not even plyometrics, warming up is the key to any type of exercising, whether it's even yoga. We warm up for yoga. We warm up for swimming. You're warming up for anything that's movement-based, walking. You want to warm up because you have your body's warm. It's nice and ready for that nice whatever exercise you're doing. So properly warming up is great for plyometrics. Size matters, showing off. Now, like I said, going back to one of the first things I said, a lot of people, want to feel like they can do something, but they have to realize there is a step to it. You can't compare yourself to other people. Once you figure out what your limit is and find out what you can do, attack that first. Attack that level. So if it's step up you have to start off with, you start that, you master that, then move on to the next level. Until you can do that correctly, and without pain or anything like that, then we can move on to something higher. We can raise it up, keep raising it up until you're comfortable to do something that's nice and high. And that's no problem with waiting for that. I think a lot of us, we see other people doing these crazy things on social media and stuff like that. But if you take your time, figure out where you're at, progress, and then you'll get there. Even if you don't get there, find the passion in what you're doing, find out what plyometric works for you, and then start to make the moves from there. Boom. The right way. So pretty much the opposite of what we talked about in this last slide. Warm up properly, perfect. Eat at least an hour before workout. So with plyometrics, you don't want to go into it, with no empty stomach or anything like that. Treat your body like it's, your favorite or that car that's your dream car. You're gonna put the right gas, you're gonna put the right you're gonna clean it, you're gonna do everything you're gonna do to that car. Treat your body like that. Eat properly. Your car cannot run without fuel. Your body cannot run without food. So plyometric exercise is very intense. So you want to have that, that energy. Food gives you energy. So you want to have that energy going into plyometric. Starting at the level that is right for you. Progression. Like I said, this is the big thing with plyometrics. This is what gets people hurt, is that they try to go beyond where they're at that moment. And it's no problem. I know a lot of people want to do, what's the hardest thing or want to go to the next thing, but you have to start off with what your body can handle. And then once your body gets used to that and your body gets a lot stronger, then let's talk about bumping up to that next plyometric exercise right there. So lastly, just have fun. Plyometrics is meant to be, fun. I always tell people, clients, that everybody's an athlete. Everybody has some type of athletic ability. Of course, there's people with higher athletic ability, but this plyometric shows that you have that athletic ability wherever you started, and it just increases and gets better and better. And then you're gonna feel like, yeah, now I feel like I'm an athlete for real. As long as you're working out, you're doing your exercise and you're doing movements, you are an athlete. So don't feel like just because I'm at this part and somebody's higher, you're not an athlete or you're not as strong or you're not ready for that. Plyometrics is for anybody at any level. Doesn't matter what weight you are, doesn't matter how you feel, you can do it. There's always a regression, there's always a progression to it. Always keep that in mind, but have fun with it. Always have fun with it. Boom. Demonstration. Now this is the part where I start to demonstrate a couple of things. I'm gonna start with a couple of just light things. Starting off with, remember when we started off with that little A skip? So, nice A skip. So marching is the regression. Boom. There you go. Marching is the regression. Step back. And then now we have our A skip, which is the next progression. Like I said, A skip, A skip, and then now high knees. This is something you can do part of your warm-up. This is something I always do, no matter if I'm working on arms, legs. I want to get my body warm, nice and loose. So high knees. Now, for sure, if you're a runner, you should definitely be warmed up. Anything with skipping is good. So I'm gonna start off with another plyometric that most people don't know. That's a plyometric. Jump rope is a plyometric. Jump rope. Boom. Even if you skip on one leg, jump rope is a plyometric. So you're doing a plyometric exercise. The jump rope. Boom. Sometimes you can take it for a nice little walk. You can, boom, get you a nice jump rope with the walk. All right. Now let's show you some upper body moves. So we got two types of slam balls. This, you have the slam ball here, which is a little bit more wider, have a little bit more space to it. So this is gonna have a little bit of bounce to it. So with these two balls, you can do ball slams. And it's something I love to do with clients. Ball slams. Something to the ground, it's hard. You see, you have to catch it. Now let me show you the difference between the other one. This one's not gonna bounce as much because it's a lot heavier. It has, more air into it. So when I slam this, I gotta go back down and go grab it. So slam, squat, grab it. And remember, when you just going to grab it back down, don't grab it here. Squat and grab it. Boom. Now you can make it more challenging. You can get on the knees. Now it's more core. More core, still upper body, working the shoulder. Boom. Here. Ball slam. Here. Now we can make it a little bit more harder. We can go sideways. Sideways. Now you can do this standing up, sitting on the knees, sitting in a chair. There's always ways you can do it. So that's rapid movements with the arm. Same thing with push-ups. Plyometric push-up. Regular push-ups is a plyometric. So doing regular push-ups, knocking out a couple here. Plyometric. Now, a little bit more advanced, plyometric push-up. It's going here. You can be on the knees, you can be up here. Now you can push up here, hop on the ball. Push up here, hop on the ball. But that's advanced. That's very advanced. So if you're feeling real good, you got the strength to do that. That's a nice one. But for my ladies, or shoot, for my fellas too, if you feel like that's too much, you can get on your knees. Do the same thing. Same thing. Here. Then the real challenging one is a push-up with a clap. Or just a push-up, clap. Boom. That's another one. It's, like I said, there's upper body plyo. It's not always about jumping. Bam. So now we have our step up. So this is simple. So say if you don't feel like jumping. Say if you don't feel like, oh man, I can't really jump or do box jump. Okay, that's all right. We can do steps, step ups. So say if you have some weight in your hands, but you can step up, plyometric, stepping up, boom. This is the plyometric. So all them step classes, plyometric movement. Make it a little harder. Step up, high knee. Step up, high knee. Again, now, say you want, that step up's a little too easy. Okay, let's make it higher now. Now from here, step up, now you're high, come back down. Ooh, if you want to make it challenging, add some weights to the side. Add a barbell on your back. You can add weight to it. Step up, boom. It's always about explosion, being explosive, stand up tall, boom. And that's if you don't, feel comfortable doing box jumps. Another instead if you want to do box jumps, you can do squat jumps. You can start off with seated here. It's something I would love to do with any of my clients who feel like they just can't do box jumps. Seated squat jumps. Boom. Here. You don't gotta worry about the height. If you're feeling a little froggy, boom, get up high. Get up high. That just depends on you. Oh, you can add a weight. Seated squat jumps. Boom. There. That's all works with athleticism, strength, and power. So that's good. See, you see me, I'm sweating. But the big thing is there's always something you can do. There's always small things. So say if you don't got a step, I'm pretty sure everybody got some books. You can stack some books, get to stepping. So find that thing that's sweet for you. Find that thing that's good for you. Same thing. Say if we had hurdles. I'm big on hips. I'm gonna end on this one though. So you got hip hurdles. So say if you got like a nice small little hurdle or something like that. Hurdles. This is good for hips. Boom. Because you're lifting up that hip, you're engaging that hip and engaging that core. So I'm big on hips. Those are all connected. Hips, core, all connected to your low back, hamstring, everything. If your hips are weak, most likely your core is weak. And vice versa. If those are weak, then that's where you might have that little back issue from there. So big thing is just lifting up. I like to do this with some of my clients who are really a little bit more advanced. Is now you can lift up, step back. Because now we're working on hip flexors, which is big. And it's a plyometric movement. It might, like I said, it's not jumping, it's just stepping over. Boom. So you can make your hurdle smaller, step over it that way too. Now, if you're feeling real good, you can hop over it, which is a very super advanced one. I don't really recommend someone who, doesn't have that mobility to do it, but you can, boom, step up, hurdle hop. Simple. But to end with that, I just want to thank you for coming today. If there's any comments, you can leave it in the chat. But plyometrics is a big thing. I feel like it's an extra step for those who really want that extra work, or feel like the workouts are getting too bland, or feel like all I'm doing is just hit a machine or hitting, the same thing. So add some plyometrics, and if you want to hit email the UPS Fitness Studio, I can send you the list of exercises, demonstrations that way too as well. So definitely, thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in and watching, even watching the replay if you need to. But just thank you for taking the time to, people don't watch the video, and we have a couple snacks in the back. So if you do want some snacks, it's because you didn't make it, free to come down and get those as well. So thank you. Have a nice day, and I really appreciate it.